The airport is not doing the due diligence needed to hold its concessionaires accountable.
Although the airport operates like a business, it is owned by the city and therefore has a duty to be a prudent steward of public dollars.
Consistent with a broader audit of airport concessions we completed in early 2022, my team kicked off a series of audits looking at how the airport manages individual vendors to illustrate ongoing oversight concerns.
Denver International Airport is the third busiest airport in the world, making concessionaire contracts at the airport particularly valuable. Among all concessions at the airport, vendors brought in annual sales of about $386 million and generated $69 million in annual revenue for the airport in 2021.
The first audit identified broader concerns related to a pattern of concessions contracts staying in place for years without being let out for competitive bid. Next item, report. For the second audit, we chose to look at oversight for the Etais Cafe concession contract. We chose this concessionaire using our risk assessment process, which involved examining which concourse brought in the most revenue from food and beverage sales, considering vendor revenue, determining which vendors own multiple airport concessions, and assessing whether the vendors were part of the premium value concession program. My audit team found the airport was allowing Etais Cafe to self-report its revenue and calculate its own rent without independent review.
Requiring the company to have an independent CPA sign off on financial statements would provide a higher standard of assurance.
We were told concessionaires have previously objected to this review because of the cost, reportedly between $8,000 and $15,000 per vendor. However, my team does not consider this cost to be unrealistic for a company that reported making more than $46 million in 2021 from its airport concessions. Independent review helps the public know everyone involved in a transaction has their accounts balanced accurately. Unfortunately, airport officials disagreed with our recommendations to require a CPA for annual statements. The lack of oversight becomes more concerning when concessionaires are allowed to also calculate their own rent payments with no guarantee the city is being paid what it is owed. Meanwhile, the Etais Cafe contract has been in place since 2012, limiting opportunities for the airport to reevaluate the contract terms. Competitive selection for government contracts guarantees the city receives the best value from its vendors.
Etais' contract was in effect from 2012 through 2019, when it went into a holdover status. Then, in August 2021, the airport agreed to extend all concessions contracts due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The Etais contract now runs through September 1st, 2024.
10 years is too long for any city contract to go unreviewed. Competitive bidding helps ensure fairness and equity. And given the amount of money at stake, it's especially important for the airport to get the best value from its concessionaires. Well, that's it for this episode of Ask the Auditor. If you have a question, submit it to auditor@denvergov.org, and maybe your question will be the next question we answer on the next episode of Ask the Auditor.